Thank you so much, guys, for joining us this evening. We are happy and grateful to have you, and we welcome you to this interactive session of today. We are excited and happy to host you. And before we go any further, we'd like to thank God for this opportunity. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening with thanksgiving in our hearts. We acknowledge that you are Lord upon our lives. We acknowledge that you're Lord upon our viewers' lives. Dear Heavenly Father, we invite you in our midst. Everlasting Jehovah, may you be able to take us through, and we will thank you when this is over. May they learn, Everlasting Father, may we impact their lives. In Jesus' name we do pray, just and believing. Amen. Today we have a very interesting topic that we'd love to discuss, and today I have the privilege to be joined by one of our very own, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Thank you, Alice, and thank you for having me. My name is Diana Wariara, and I work at FMC Advocates, which is one of the project lawyers for Savo. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Diana, for joining us. And I am Alice Nganga, your very own host. Yes, and today, thank you for tuning in. Please tell a friend to also join. This will be so informative for most of us who want to own property and who already own real estate. And before we go any further, today's topic is really what next. What next? I have here at Savo, we encourage Kenyans out there, even those who are in diaspora, to invest, to live for today and tomorrow, to be able to put something aside for tomorrow, and we call it financial independence, retire early. So today we ask, you have already invested in real estate, you've bought a unit, it is now complete. What do we do after that? If you're able to go through our YouTube channel, you will see videos we've done in the past. We've talked about the selling process, we've talked about documents in the selling process, we've talked about your sale agreement, we talked about the importance of this document and why you need to sign it. But now we want to tell you, this is during the process. What do you do after this? Thank you so much, Diana, for joining us today. Thank you so much. And then before we go any further, would like to also let our viewers know that our newest project, complete project, that is Savo Skywalk on Wanye Road, and it is now letting. So you will have, in the comments section, you will have a contact who you can call and inquire about Savo Skywalk, get to book a unit and get to enjoy Savo lifestyle. Thank you so much, Diana.
Really, this topic is really timely because it comes at a point where you guys have just launched Savo Skywalk, which was around 2 weeks back. And the burning question that most investors have is, where do we go from here? I've finished paying, the development is ready. What are the next steps? So in this particular webinar, we are going to look at like the two types of investors that Savo has, those on the long-term payment plans and those that have finished paying on the practical completion date. Because their expectations and what they'll get is a bit different, or the timings of when they'll get certain things is varies.
Okay, so basically, just to do, before we discuss the tail end of all this, maybe just to introduce the process, that just to brush over the process, the sales process. So for example, here at Savo, we launch a project. You come in as an investor, you get introduced to someone called your fire partner. This is the person who gets to take you through the process. So you book a unit in a project, preferably a studio, a 1-bedroom, a convertible 1-bedroom. So once you book you book the unit, you're handed over to our legal team, and that's why we have Diana here. You're handed over to our legal team. They begin to draft your sale agreement. It is sent to you. You have you have a look at it. You're able to discuss terms, because of course if you look at the sale agreement, it is not a small document, about 13 pages with a lot of legal terms. You're able to discuss the document, and our lawyers are able to assist you. Just understand, because all of us are good at various areas, and the legal part might be a struggle for many of us. So they're able to take you through. You make your first payment, you continue paying. So here at Savo, we have the privilege of allowing our investors make monthly payments. So it is not a one-off purchase. So you take a payment plan of your preference, and here at Savo, we are able to complete our projects within 24 months. So you take your preferred monthlies, and now we are at the 24th month. So we complete the project and we let you know as an investor. So I have completed the project. I've completed paying for my purchase price. What's next then?
So at that point, there are a few things that usually happen. And what happens is, the first thing that would happen when the project is ready for completion, there's a certificate which we call the practical completion certificate. And this is a certificate that's issued by the architect. And basically it's a certificate that says that the development, that they built the development as per the building plans. So once the developer gets the practical completion certificate, then they apply for the certificate of occupation. So a certificate of occupation is it's a document, but that's issued by the county government. So for instance, for a development like Coral Bells that's in Kiambu, that certificate of occupation would be issued by the county government of Kiambu. And essentially what this certificate of occupation is saying is that the development is safe occupation. So at this point, and is when now Savo can come to the investors and they tell them, you can now take possession of your unit, and there's a handover process and the property management process, which I think you can shed a bit more light on.
So once you have completed, and these two documents, that is the practical completion certificate and the certificate of occupation, have been issued now to the investor, we have a handover process. So basically in the handover process, we, like for Skywalk, about 2 days ago, we did a grand opening at Skywalk, and thank you so much for everyone who joined us. It was an amazing ceremony. So here we get our investors to come to enjoy the beauty of their investment. Basically, we open and say that now we begin to let in this project. We have investors look at their units, appreciate, and say, I bought A203 and this is my A203. I am inside my A203, and just be able to see the beauty of their investment. And here, Diana, there is the defects liability period kicks in. Shed a bit of light on what it is.
Okay, so at this particular point, you've taken occupation of your apartment. So what happens at this point is there's a defects liability period, which is a clause that's included in the agreement for sale. And what this clause basically provides for is that the developer will make repairs to the apartment, will make repairs to the apartment within 6 months. But the repairs have to be, like something that's substantial and arose due to like a defect during construction. Okay,
thank you. So it only caters for a defect that happened during construction,
or as a result of construction.
And what's the period of the defects liability?
So it runs from 6 months from the date the architect issues the practical completion certificate. So if it was issued, let's say on 1st August, then the clock is ticking from 1st August.
Thank you so much, Diana, for clarifying that. So after you have come for the handover, you have seen your unit, you're satisfied with it, defects liability period kicks in, and then here in Savo, we want to ensure that our investors earn while they sleep. We want to ensure that the investment process is as seamless as possible. So in lifestyle, in Savo, we have a company called Savo Lifestyle, and basically Savo Lifestyle is the management company of Savo. So being the management company of Savo, we manage units for investors basically. And what this means is that you will receive a document by the name a property management agreement. This is a document that just outlines what are your responsibilities as an investor and what are our responsibilities as the property management company, and basically in Savo Lifestyle, so we get you a tenant. So once you sign the document, you agree to the terms of this document and you sign it. So what happens thereafter is our able letting team begins to look for tenants for you. So once we secure a tenant for you, we let you know, and thereafter we begin to remit your rent. And remittance of rent here at Savo is by the 10th day of the particular month. So we're talking about September rent. Today is on the 7th. So between the 1st and the 10th, by the 10th, you have received your rent as an investor, as long as your unit is occupied. And once the unit is not occupied, we let you know, and we let you know the efforts we are putting into securing a tenant. And once we've also secured a tenant, we also let you know. So Diana, we've issued the practical completion certificate. You have signed your property management agreement. What else kicks in the legal part?
Okay, so also at this particular point is you'll receive an invoice, which is the second invoice for the legal costs. And this invoice is what we call the stage 2 costs, or it might also be described as costs for utility fees. So the stage 2 costs are essentially payable within 30 days from the date of when you finish paying the purchase price and before you take occupation of the apartment. So it comprises of service charge. So it's a service charge deposit. It's a cost of installation of water meters and electricity meters. And when it's paid to the legal, it will be paid to us as the lawyers, and we will remit it to Savo. And once we remit it to Savo, they'll credit your account to show that they've received the amounts.
So for Skywalk investors who have completed payments, who have already signed their property management agreement and don't know the next step or the next amount to pay, so what is due now, if you paid your stage 1, is the stage 2 cost. Stage 2 cost is utility payments. It is just service charge deposit, as Diana said, and installation of your utility meters. And then so now we've already talked about the defect liability period. We said now it runs for 6 months and it applies to all defects that happened during construction. Then now I have paid my stage 2. I have begun to receive my rent. The next question, an investor will say, yes, I bought this unit. 803 is my unit. I have a statement against it. I have a sale agreement signed and stamped. What other document do I need to show that I am the legal owner of this apartment?
Okay. That's a very important question, because it's what that investor is asking for is, where's my title?
Basically.
Where is my title that shows that I own this apartment? So that titling process is usually the next process, and it's usually done when you're in occupation of the house, because it sometimes it might take a bit of time to get that title. So the titling process is one that we do concurrently with you staying in the house. And it might be done in 2 ways because of the new Sectional Properties Act. So for investors like Skywalk and newer projects like Sunset, you'll find that they'll be issued with what we call sectional titles. But investors who bought in projects like Coral Bells are getting subleases. So maybe I can discuss the process under subleases, and then we'll move to now for the newer projects. Right. So like in Coral Bells, what happens at this point is we draft a sublease and we share with you that particular sublease. And essentially a sublease is it's a title document, but it now contains your rights and obligations as an investor, the obligations of the management company towards the investor, and it's a standard document that we issue to all investors within the development, because we want all investors within the development to have the same rights and obligations. So what happens at this point is we give you some time as the investor to read and understand the document, because this becomes a governing document between you and the management company and all other investors within Coral Bells. And it's basically a document that ensures there's harmony within the development. And
before you go any further, are there any clauses that investors have trouble with understanding, that one or two that you would want to elaborate, or any clauses that are very important for the investor to note inside the sublease. Because even in Coral, we have a 5-year payment plan here at Savo. So we have investors still paying in Coral bills, and they're about to receive their lease. What should they look out for?
Okay, so under the sublease, then you'd have, essentially it's pretty simple, because it gives for the obligations of the management company. It gives the obligations of the investor. So like obligations of the management company would be like to provide services within the development, which would be like security, lighting, you know, cleaning of common areas and so forth. So, and some obligations of like the investor would be to like pay service charge as and when it's due, to make sure that, you know, they use the apartment for the purpose it's supposed to be used for, which in this case is residential. So such things. And then you know, it has like a list of services that the management company will give. And it also talks about insurance, which the management company will take out, which is insurance just for the common areas and the structure of the development.
So now, for example, an investor in Corabels is asking themselves, there is a new regime. Does my sublease still hold water as a document of ownership?
The sublease is still a title document, and it's still recognized outside there. So what's happening is, because, you know, it was a legal title and you can't come and say one day that they're no longer they're invalid. So what's happened is there's phasing out. But at the moment, because we had started registering subleases in Coral Belts, we have to finish registering all the subleases in Coral before we can start phasing them now to the new titling regime, which is sectional properties. So and for now and in the near future, it's still a valid document, a valid title document.
Okay.
So you've read the sublease, you've understood it. The next step is to come in and to sign the sublease. So when you come in and sign the sublease, we'll ask you for what we call stage 3 costs, which is stamp duty and registration costs. And once these fees are paid to us, then we'll get the developer to sign the sublease as well, and then we'll forward the documents for we'll forward the documents to the lands registry. And the first process they undergo is something we call the valuation. So valuation is basically assessment of the apartment, assessment of the apartment to see what it's worth at the current market value. So they come, they look at the apartment, the finishing to the apartment, and you know, the area where it's built. And then they'll say, maybe if it's a studio, they'll say it's 1.8 million. That's the current value of the apartment. So you might find maybe you bought a studio at 1.6 million. But when the project is complete, you find the market value is higher. So you'll find that the stamp duty payable on the apartment is higher.
Also, so now for investors, it's very clear that stamp duty, on the sale agreement, there is proposed stamp duty because it is 4% of the value of the unit. But what is on your sale agreement is 4% of your purchase price, which is 1.8. But according to what Diana is telling us today, is that once the government valuer comes, this is a real estate asset. It will appreciate in value, and it will not be 4% of 1.8 anymore. Will be 4% of 1.2 of 2 million. Sorry. So to investors who now have completed in Skywalk, look out for valuation. Once valuation is done, do not delay to pay your stamp duty. It will be on the lower end. The more the years go by, the higher it becomes. And Diana, is there a time frame where valuers come? If they come 6 months after completion, when next are they mostly likely to come, or can they just come?
No. So what happens is, once we submit like your sublease to the lands registry, they come for each sublease, because what they do is they issue a valuation report for each apartment. So it's dependent on each time we submit documents to them. So they look, they say maybe we have 100 apartments here, we're going to value those 100 apartments, and after that we'll issue a report for the 100 apartments.
Before we even go to the process of now paying this stamp duty, what goes on before you pay this stamp duty? What documents do you need to give? What do you need to get from KRA and all these things? I think we can look at who has joined us and be able to answer some of the questions that are streaming in. So I can see Amos Stores, who's sending the fire emoji. Drop the fire emoji. Savo, we are all about financial independence, and we use the fire emoji to represent that. I can see Sam, who's also dropped the fire emoji. Thank you so much. I can see Cynthia Cheruto, who's also joined. Thank you so much, Cynthia. Rachel Wainaina, who's saying I'm online. Thank you so much. Christopher Nguge, who's saying let's go on. I can see Fidel Mwaki. Hi, Fidel, who's dropped the fire emoji. I can see Mombi Ann. Thank you, Ann. I can see Faith Kayesi. Thank you so much, Faith, who's also dropped the fire emoji. I can see Lucy Angela Kamau, who's saying hi. Hi, Lucy. I can see Wi-Fi Guru, who's saying hi. I can see Nick, who's also dropping the fire emoji. I can see Stocks254, who's saying nice project, Savo. Thank you so much, Stocks. I hope you have begun your own investment journey, so that we walk this journey together. I can see Silas, who's saying under the new sectional act, I understand all subleases are supposed to be converted and mother title surrendered. Please clarify. Okay,
so at that point, it's something that, like we had said, currently subleases were being issued, but they are not invalid per se. However, the Sectional Properties Act has provided that we are supposed to transition. So this is something that can be initiated by the investors themselves through the management company. So like here at Coral Bells, because they have shares in the management company and as shareholders, they can initiate this process, or the developer can do it for them, but they can initiate the process, and what happens is now all of them will now need to surrender the subleases to the government, to the lands registry, and the lands registry will now start the process of issuing them sectional titles. So what will happen first is they'll do a georeferencing, get sectional plans, and then they surrender what they have, and it's converted. The subleases are now converted from a sublease to a sectional title.
Thank you so much. Also, maybe you'll just touch on even before develop. I know we've done this in our other videos, but just for clarity, before we even begin to construct, what happens to the mother title of a project?
Okay, so the moment we start construction, what happens is we apply for what we call a change of user. So the change of user happens at 2 levels. It happens at the county level, and once we get the approval at the county level, we now proceed to the ministerial level, where now we're issued with a new head title. Once they approve the application, we're issued with a new head title, and there it is. It will be a new title plus a lease. And it will have now the change of user endorsed on it.
Thank you so much, Diana, for clarifying that. I can see Mudoni, who's asking, what if I want to live in it rent-free? Currently at Savo, we do off-plan. We do off-plan projects, and as we construct, we use the money paid by investors to continue to construct. But what we have for young people right now currently is the zero deposit plan. Zero deposit plan means that if you come and take a studio worth 1.8, you're not required to do a down
owning your first apartment in Nairobi.
Take your purchase price, take your preferred period of repayment, be it 60 months. 60 months is 5 years. That's our longest payment plan. Be it 24 months, which is our shortest payment plan, and which is construction period. So you take 1.8 and divide by 60 months. You will pay as little as 30,000 a month. If you want the 24 months construction period payment plan, you take 1.8 and just divide by that, and divide by 24 months, where you will get about 75,000 a month. So we have a just divide plan. So if you want a unit and do not have 1.8 at the moment, you can come to us and are able to take the just divide plan. I can see Triot, who's saying good stuff. What gets to what gets to the investor for a rented apartment? Give an example for Skywalk, rented at 20,000. What gets to the investor? So at Savo, the charges, the deductible charges from the gross rent received by the resident are service charge, which is between 1,500 and 2,000. After you have deducted service charge from the rent, let's say of 13,000, you've deducted 2,000. That's for a studio. You get 11,000, and then from this 11,000 you deduct 8% of the 11,000, and the gross comes to about 10,120. But for example, a studio at Skywalk, the gross rent is 15,500. So once you do the deductions, you get about 12,000 to the 240 shillings as your gross. So those are the deductions we have. That is service charge and management fee. And then Fidel is saying, Fidel Mwaki, he's saying important for investors to read their sublease and understand their obligation at the point of signing documents. So this is legal counsel. Please read your document before you get to sign it. Get to understand what are your obligations and what is expected of you as an investor. I can see Sharon Makatiani who says, hi, does the insurance paid through the management company cover the apartments? If no, how do I secure my apartment? So we pay for insurance, which covers for the building. It covers for the entire structure. If you want to, you can secure the things inside your apartment, but we provide for insurance for the entire building, unless you want to secure what is inside your own apartment.
Okay, maybe I can just add to that.
Yes.
Sharon, what you can do is you can get insurance for your apartment, your specific apartment. Yeah, but in case of anything, what would happen is just the structure would be restored. So the valuables in your apartment would not be part of what would be paid out as the insurance sum. Yeah.
And Katao is asking, are the titles on the apartment freeholds or leaseholds?
Leaseholds.
Yes. You can elaborate a bit.
Okay, so what happens is the term that's on the head title is the term that is passed down to the investor.
Yes.
Or the investor on the, especially with subleases.
Yes.
So if you'd find when we do the change of visa and we get the new head title, we get a leasehold title for 99 years from a specific date.
Yes.
So what the investor would get is that specific term.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Diana. I can see Nadim who's saying, I would like to know if the subleases are under going process. Can the developer still take a loan against it?
Can the developer take a loan
against a sublease?
Once a sublease is issued and it's registered, it becomes, that apartment becomes the property of the investor.
Yes.
So I think the question they're asking is whether the developer can take a loan against the head title for the development.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've seen some cases where developers have gone ahead and taken loans, and now the investors are left in a situation where they have to pay. But I can assure you with Savo, this would never happen due to the internal policies that are here.
Yes.
And they have a policy that talks about low risk.
Yes.
So they don't take any loans or use the properties as securities to secure amounts from banks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think now you can now tell us how do I pay this stamp duty? What do I need to provide for me to pay stamp duty, and where do I pay it?
Okay.
As we said, stage 2 is paid to the developer's lawyer. Stage 3 is here. Where do I pay?
Okay, so stage 3 is payable to the lawyers, because we're the ones who are handling the transaction.
Yes.
So we had talked about valuation, and at this point we want to assume that you have the valuation report and you know that the stamp duty payable on your apartment. So at this particular point we'll send you an email and we'll tell you the value at which your apartment has been valued and the stamp duty payable. And if you need to top up from the sums we had given you, because what we had given you before was an estimate.
Yes.
But if it's higher than the estimate, we'll request that you top up that particular sum so that we can proceed further.
Yes.
And what I wish to just point out is stamp duty is payable within 30 days from the date it was assessed.
Yes.
After which now penalties start accruing.
Yes.
So we'll request that you raise a KRA e-slip,
yes.
and essentially this is raised from the investor's iTax account,
yes.
and it's just an invoice which
yes.
enables us to go and make the payment to the KRA bank accounts. So once you raise the KRA e-slip on your iTax account, what
yes.
we'll do is we'll take that particular e-slip, we'll use that e-slip to make the payment,
yes.
and now proceed with the registration process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so investors need to be open to raise the e-slip.
No, what we do is we tell them how to raise the e-slip, and in case they're experiencing any challenges, we're available to jump on a call with them to just walk them through the KRA portal and help them get that particular e-slip, because iTax passwords and such can be sensitive information. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dana, for clarifying that. So as an investor, don't be stuck on late payment of stamp duty because you don't know how to go about it. Our lawyers are open to help, are open to assist, are open to take you through the process so that you're not stuck you're not stuck, you just understand how to do it and you're able to do it in real time. So we've talked about the sublease. We've already said that even if you have a unit in an older project, that your sublease is still valid. Now let's come to the new regime. What is it? What do I expect from the new regime?
Okay, so maybe I can just finish up with the registration process.
Yes.
So we've paid stamp duty, then what we do is we now go to the lands registry and we book the documents.
Yes.
So we book the documents for registration. So at the lands registry, the first thing, they'll verify that stamp duty was paid, and then after that, now the documents will go to the land registrar, and if he's satisfied with the documents as they are, then he'll now proceed to register the apartment and issue a title to the investor.
Yes.
Yeah, and then they'll also make an entry on the head title to show that this apartment is registered to, let's say, Alice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for clarifying that.
Yeah.
So now we can move to the new regime.
Yeah.
People get to understand what do they expect now.
Yeah, so right now with the new act, the Sectional Properties Act, it now affects new developments,
Yes.
the ones where we hadn't started registration of any sort.
Yes.
So in these new developments, what would happen is the first thing we'd do is we'd do georeferencing.
Yes.
So this is done once the change of user is complete and we have a new head title for the development.
What is georeferencing?
So georeferencing essentially is it's picking the points of the apartment in relation to the land.
Yes.
In simple terms, it's like creating Google pins for the apartment. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So once we do georeferencing, we'll get it's done by a registered surveyor who now comes to the development and they do georeferencing and they pick the points for all the apartments, and then they generate what we call sectional plans, which they'll proceed to register at the county, at the county government,
Yes.
and subsequently they'll go register the same plans at the survey of Kenya. So once we have the plans,
Yes.
we have the plans with us, then we'll now make an application at the lands registry
Yes.
for registration.
Yes.
For registration of to obtain sectional titles.
Yes.
And at this point, I'll just point out that because of the uniqueness of the Savo projects where not everyone is required to pay on completion of the development.
Yes.
What happens first is all the titles come out in Savo's name.
Yes.
And then for those who have finished paying, we'll do a transfer immediately.
Yes.
And then for the rest, we'll do a transfer as if when you finish paying.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
So once we do an application to the lands registry for registration of the sectional title,
Yes.
and that application will be reviewed by the registrar, and then they'll, of course, they'll undertake authentication of the sectional plans that we've submitted.
Yes.
They'll send them back to Survey of Kenya. If the plan's okay, then they'll proceed to, number one, cancel the head title for the entire development.
Yes.
And the second thing they do is they open a new file for each and every apartment,
Yes.
because now an apartment will be seen like a land. Yeah, so you can deal with it as you want.
Yes.
And then something that they do concurrently is they also register a corporation.
Yes.
And the members of the corporation will be the investors. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so with the earlier question, you'd see with the sectional titles,
Yes.
then the developer would not be able to register, would not be able to take out a loan on the head title
Yes.
of the development. Yeah.
Because
So
it has already been cancelled.
it's already been cancelled and closed. Yeah.
Thank you so much for clarifying that. And for investors to just know now, if they buy a project, if they buy a unit in one of our projects, what do they expect? They expect to get a sectional title.
Yeah.
Yes. And Diana, you had mentioned, so now I have gotten my sectional title, or my sectional title is being prepared at the ministry. What's next? What's next after that?
So once we have your sectional title, or we've signed the transfer and have the transfer registered, and now a sectional title is issued in your name, what the next process is now releasing the documents to you. And this is what we call the completion documents, which mark the end of that particular transaction, or it shows that we've delivered on the promise. That was a promise to build and the promise to get you a title. So this is the last, essentially it's the last part for us as a legal team, and for the developer. At this particular point. So what happens is we release to you the completion documents. So if you are like in a development like Coral, where they were issuing subleases, the list of documents would be like a registered sublease, a copy of the head title, a booking form which shows that we took the documents to the lands registry, the KRA e-slip which shows that we paid stamp duty to KRA, and it should be endorsed by KRA, amongst other documents. With new projects like Skywalk Sunset, you'd find that it would be like a sectional title, registered transfer, carry e-slip, and so on, copies of like the sectional plans and what have you.
Okay. So investors really ask this question. So I have gotten a title. I've gotten all my completion documents. Most important of all of them is my title, and now I'm able to say I am an owner of a unit in Nairobi. What can I do with this title? How useful is it to me?
The title is, I'd say it's gold, because you can deal with it the same way you deal with your parcel of land. So you can use it as a security at a bank. You can, if you decide to like gift it to someone else, you can transfer it to them. You can, maybe sell it to someone else at a higher value if you wish, but you can deal with the property as you wish, provided it's within the confines of the sublease or the bylaws for the corporation.
So if I want, for example, you're my sister and I want to transfer this unit to you, what is the process of transfer? What do I need to sign? Who do I need to talk to? How long does it take?
So this transfer, from what we've noticed, is usually can be done at 2 stages. The first stage is before we issue you with a title. So the project is complete and you decide you want to gift this apartment to, let's say, your daughter or like you said, your sister. So at this particular point, the documents we prepare is what we call an assignment agreement. And basically you're just assigning your rights to the apartment as provided for under the agreement for sale to your sister. So once we prepare the assignment agreement, you have to sign it. The new person who's coming on has to sign it, and the developer has to consent to that particular assignment, because this new party is not someone who's known to them. So they have to consent to that particular transaction, and after that, then when we're preparing the title documents, they will be issued in the name of the incoming purchaser, the incoming investor. The second one is once you have the title. So once you have the title, what you do is you'll do a transfer. Because already the title is issued in your name, so you'll transfer it as a gift to your beloved.
I can see Gloria Kitur who's sending a fire emoji. Thank you so much, Gloria. I can see Nadim who's saying beautifully answered. Thank you so much for the assurance. I can see Nziza who's saying, do all transactions happen within Savo account like the stamp duty? As Dana had said, you pay to the lawyers and then they request that you raise an e-slip in your iTax account so that they are able to transfer this amount to carry.
So yeah, but there's also the option where investors can elect to pay to KRA themselves. It's just that we do this for convenience of investors. Yes, because they're busy people and we just want to take it off their hands, and we can do it much, much faster. So if you wish, you can pay directly to KRA and you share with us those details and ensure that the bank endorses the KRA e-slip, and you provide us with the transaction slips for that particular payment.
So that you're able to to continue with the titling process. Yes, and I can see yes, Nziza who said, are there land rates or land rents payable? Yes, they are, and they are paid by the management company through the service charge that you pay to the management company. Yes.
So maybe I can clarify on that point again.
Yes.
That would apply for developments like Coral, where subleases have been issued, because the management company takes on the work of paying the rates for the entire development. But once you have the sectional title, you will be responsible for remittance of rates and rent to the county government. For your particular apartment. That won't be the duty of the corporation. It will be the duty of each and every individual investor, because they now have a title to their apartment. So the title, on the title, it will show like the rates payable to them.
So just for clarification, when Diana is talking about a corporation, she just means that in the sublease regime, that the person who takes care of common areas is the management company. But now in this new regime, the person responsible for taking care of the common areas is a corporation. That is initiated after completion. That's correct. Yes. So Diana, I have all these completion documents. I ascertain that I got really what was promised to me. We've talked about the 24 months investors, but not to forget that here at Savo we have 60 months investors, 36 months investors, 48 months investors. So what happens to these investors who have not completed when the project is complete at that particular point?
So these investors will be well taken. We'll take care of them as well. They won't be ignored or put to the side. So what happens is, the moment you finish paying your purchase price, then you'd be entitled to rent or occupation of the apartment within the next month. And you can now opt for the property management by Savo Lifestyle. When it comes to now issues like defects liability, because the defects liability period will have lapsed at that time, what happens is Savo will allow for a joint inspection between Savo and the investor themselves. So when they're doing this joint inspection, what they'll do is they'll agree on repairs to be made to that particular apartment. So that just covers the defects liability, and then after that, once that's done, they'll be required to pay the stage 2 costs, and each month they'll be required to pay the service charge. So that the development can keep on running. And once they pay stage 2, then we can now move to the next stage, which is now registration and payment of stage 3 costs as well.
So for investors who've taken a longer payment plan, you are not forgotten, you are not ignored. Once you complete, the same process that happened for the people who completed after 24 months will happen to you. We will ensure that we walk this journey with you until you're able to get your title and say, I am a proud owner of an apartment in Savo. And as we wind up, we hope that this has been very informative for you, that you are now not stranded wondering, I have completed payment, I have done my obligation in reference to my sale agreement, what else do I do now? So I hope this has been like really informative for you, and we are open for questions. We are open to help you understand, because really understanding of most of these things cannot be done in one session. So for any questions that you have, please send them to us. We will be back here to answer any questions that you might have. And before I wind up, I think I'll give it to Diana. As I said earlier when we began, Diana works for Fidel Mwaki. They are our partner. Here at Savo, partnership is one of our greatest core values. It just means a win-win. It just means you're part of this with us. So just to introduce yourself, introduce the firm, tell people what you do, and really where they can get you for all this legal assistance you talk about.
Thank you. So as said, I am Diana. I work at FMC Advocates, which is based at Westlands,
Yes.
MP Shah area. You can get us on our email, wariara at fmcadvocates.com. I'm sorry.
Yes.
And you can also shoot an email to our group email, which is fmcgroup@fmcadvocates.com. We have a wide range of practice areas.
Yes.
We do real estate and construction, advising developers and just walking the journey with them from due diligence to completion, and making sure that the investors are well taken care of. We handle all issues that arise and advise on new laws.
Yes.
We also do corporate and commercial transactions, employment and labor relations, and estate planning and management.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Diana, for always agreeing to do this with us. On the comment section, I can see Diana's email has been put there. Do not hesitate to reach out to her. Also, do not hesitate to reach out to us here at Savo. We are always open to help you and assist you and take you through this journey with us. And just before we wind up, we can read the last comments. I can see Nziza who's saying, I love the way you make everything convenient, especially in the payments. Yes, we want to ensure that you earn while you sleep, that this is not an added headache, that this is something that helps you transition from and become an owner and also walk your financial independence journey. And then I can see Davis who's saying awesome. Thank you so much, Davis, for tuning in. I can see Gladys who's dropped the fire emoji. Thank you so much. I can see Habel who's also dropped the fire emoji. Thank you so much. And then Gladys is asking, would you manage the apartment on my behalf if it is furnished? Currently, we do not have that kind of model. Currently, we manage the normal tenancy model. And if you look at our apartments, at every particular month, they're between 90% to 100% filled. So we do not want to come to investors with something that we've really not explored. So we're still looking into it. We're still looking into the business of furnished apartments. And once we come out with a solid plan, we will inform and update our investors. But currently, we do the tenancy agreement, which is really a business that we have cracked. We're able to get tenants and promise passiveness of this investment, and you're able to see the consistency in the returns of this investment. I can also see Bilhao Thiambo who's saying thank you so much for being clear. Thank you so much, Diana, for coming to clarify most of these issues and questions. We will be back here for another session to just go over the titling process again and ensure that you well understand it, and you are in this murky real estate business that you know your things at your fingertips. Yes. So thank you so much. And as we began, we said that we have our newest complete project, which is Savo Skywalk on Wanye Road. Now letting. In the comment section, there is a contact for our letting department. Kindly reach out to them. We have a variety of units from the studio. We have a convertible 1-bedroom. We have the 1-bedroom that are all available for letting. Come and let's create a lifestyle together. And as we were speaking, I talked about the zero deposit plan here at Savo. Again, we are still open for zero deposit sales in our newest projects. So it basically means that you do not need to pay an installment, a down payment. You just need to come in, pick a unit, get a sale agreement, and begin to pay your monthly directly on a payment plan of your choice. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in this evening. It was wonderful to talk to you. I hope this was impactful. I hope you have learned a lesson. Next time, come with a friend, tell a family member that there is some wisdom somewhere. Thank you so much. Until next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Nairobi has never been easier. It's simple. With zero deposit and 0% interest rate, you can pay as little as 30,000 per month for up to 5 years. Just divide the price by the number of months you want to pay. Visit www.savo.ke to learn more. Owning your Owning your first apartment in Nairobi has never been easier. It's simple. With zero deposit and 0% interest rate, you can pay as little as 30,000 per month for up to 5 years. Just divide the price by the number of months you want to pay. Visit www.savo.ke to learn more.
My name is Leonard Mcharo. I am the founder of Savo. Together with my wife, we lead a wonderful team of highly dedicated people, most of them young. Now, I know today I should be really excited about us turning 7, but I think I'm a bit more pensive because 7 years gives you time to think through where we have come from, and has also given me a deeper understanding of the responsibility that we have from now going forward. Now, Savo started from almost a point of disappointment and disillusionment. I think turning 40 does that to you. I was running a fairly successful architectural company, but it got to a place where I felt we had the tools to do more to impact this country. But I was not sure what it was. And backed by a group of young people who believed that we could do it, together we could do it. We came, and for about 18 months, we relentlessly searched for what Savo could become. And after 18 months, we realized we got a purpose, and the purpose was to enable investors achieve financial independence through affordable, amazing apartments. Now that was a big deal. It didn't just come from the air. It came from many trials and lots of failure. We kept trying different business models and we kept failing. But my wife and I had invested earlier, many years earlier, and we were earning rent and we were financially independent. And one day somebody just said, you guys keep talking about your financial independence through, small residential units. Why don't we do the same for other Kenyans out there? And that was the light bulb, I think, that just sort of changed everything. And from then we have pushed. We have gotten to understand what financial independence means, what it means to us as a purpose, but more importantly, what it means to investors. We have seen people's lives change. We have seen people who were spending their money aimlessly. You earn a lot, you spend a lot, and hope that things will be okay. We have seen that mind shift begin to happen among many people. And we've really been blessed. The team started with about 7-8 people here. And now we are 8 in the office, and we have more than 1,000 on our sites and in our different projects. Now, 1,000 people who earn their daily bread from Savo. That for me is a big blessing on one hand, but also a big responsibility. These are 1,000 families we're answerable to. We started with no investor. Now we have more than 1,600 investors and growing. 1,600 investors and growing. And these are people who have worked hard, they have put their money, and they expect results. So for me, that's a big responsibility. So far, we have 1,350 residents. When Skywalk is occupied, maybe in the next month or two, we'll have more than almost 2,000 people living in our units. And these are huge milestones. But for me, and I believe for the rest of the team here at Savo, we are just getting started. Because it is in these 6 years And these, I mean, if you look at 1,000 people working, 1,600 investors, 2,000 residents, this is close to what, 5,000 people who have put their money, their time, their talent in Savo. And now for the first time, the brand is beginning to be known out there. So for us, we are just getting started. The first 7 years was sort of a get to know yourself session. And now we are moving on to the next one. So all these people, with the 6 projects complete, 7 projects ongoing, people are getting to know about us. We are seeing the beginning of a new wave of Savo. And this new wave means we really have to commit to this purpose of financial independence. This new era of Savo means we have to commit more to quality. We have to commit more to delivery. We have to commit more to compliance. We have to commit more to the neighborhoods that we are in, because we are affecting neighborhoods in a big way. We have to commit more to youth, the young people who live in our places. We have to take care of their financial needs, their shelter needs, their spiritual needs, and we are doing significant things towards that. So for me, Savo over these 7 years has revealed that we have been called to do this work. We are being called to be disciplined because it's a big responsibility, taking care of the human beings who work here, the human beings who live here, and the human beings who put their money here. So as we start the next 7, my prayer is that our commitment to this purpose will be more than before, and to understand that what is lacking in the market really is not real estate. That's not what is lacking in the market. What is lacking in the market is integrity. What is lacking in the market is discipline, is financial discipline, is a discipline to the building industry, is a discipline in investment. That is what we want to do. And our core value number 1 is discipline. So the next 7 years for me is where the purpose of financial independence and relentless discipline is going to be the thing. So to our investors, thank you for being with us. We could not have done it. I could not have done it with the team that is at Savo. We could not have done it without the residents. And I pray that as we move on, we shall deliver the things that you need to enable you to become financially independent. Thank you.